Now, and results are already coverage across the state and, of course, in Bridgeport tonight as voters there have cast ballots amid controversy and confusion. We're getting right out to Fox 61's Matt Karen live in Bridgeport with the latest. Matt?
Well, the polls have literally just closed, and any minute now we're going to be seeing those early results start to filter in. This is a race that not only the whole state is watching, but really a large part of the country is watching because of the video evidence that we saw of ballot fraud and then a judge overturning the results of the primary. Now, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Will this election even count? But John Gomes is hoping that tonight will deliver a victory for him, and then he has to hope that a judge agrees with him just to certify this election and not go ahead with a new primary. So we're going to be watching all of this and, of course, be keeping a very close eye on the absentee ballot tally, which is supposed to be the last of those numbers to come in. And, of course, we will be keeping a very watchful eye on what happens with that. Right now, we're going to send it over to my colleague, Jake Garcia, who's live over at Mayor Joe Ganem's headquarters. Jake, how are things over there?
Matt, here at Ganem's watch party, the supporters are starting to trickle in now that it's 8 o'clock and the polls have closed. But so far, the media outnumbers the number of supporters here, but that will be likely to change over the next coming hours. Mayor Ganem is expected to be here in the next hour and a half as well. Just a little bit of information on the polling locations. People were sitting out there monitoring, making sure that things were going smoothly throughout the day. But before we left to come here, there was actually a little bit of an argument. So tensions are high surrounding this race. But tonight, Mayor Ganem hoping for a win, even though that may make him jump through more hoops later on when it comes to the legal battle, and hoping for an appeal from the state Supreme Court so that he can get back and declare the winner of the mayor's seat if he is declared winner tonight as well. So we'll continue to keep you posted on the watch party here in Bridgeport, but for now, we're live in Bridgeport. Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jake, thank you. Yeah, here's a little more election troubles down in Bridgeport. A pair of Bridgeport city councilors were arrested at polling locations this afternoon. Police say Samia Suleiman and Maria Pereira were both arrested in two separate incidents. Police say Suleiman was causing a disturbance at a polling location, while Pereira is accused of assaulting a 70-year-old woman at the polls. Both women have been charged. All right, if you run into any problems while casting your vote, or you notice anything that just seems off at your polling station, you can call the election hotline. The number is 1-866-OUR-VOTE, and all questions are welcome. You can also always call your town or city's clerk or registrar of voters. And to get live results and race calls, text the word results to 860-527-6161. You can also find the voter guide along with all our coverage on the free Fox 61 News app and on our website, fox61.com. All right, heading over to Hartford now, where voters in the capital city elected a new leader today. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst joins us live from Duncan Park now, where both city and state officials are rallying around Democratic nominee Arunan Arulampalam. Emma, the polls have closed. What are you hearing out there?
Well, I spoke to Arunan Arulampalam earlier today at a polling location as he was getting out there and talking to voters. He told me he's feeling very confident today and hoping for a good night for his campaign. People are just starting to show up here at Duncan Park for his watch party, so the excitement is starting to build. Arulampalam, as you said, the Democratic nominee, heavily favored. He won that nomination back in September, beating out former state lawmaker and Superior Court Judge Eric Coleman and State Senator John Fanfara. Joining Arulampalam on the ballot as options today were the Republican Michael McGarry and petitioning candidates Councilman Nick LeBron, J. Stan McCauley, and Giselle Jacobs will be here at Duncan Park the rest of the night, and we'll start bringing you those race results as we get them. As you said, polls just closed here at 8 p.m., but we'll be checking in with Arunan, his team, and with those poll numbers as we start to get them. Live here in Hartford, Emma Wolfhorst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Emma, thank you. There were also some issues on the ballots today. Some Connecticut voters decided today whether their town will allow sales of recreational marijuana, while Connecticut, as a state, legalized recreational retail back in January for those over 21. Towns have to grant zoning approval to any business that wants to open a store. Simsbury voters made that call today. Other Connecticut communities have looked at a similar option to decide whether they would welcome these businesses or keep them out. We'll continue to monitor Simsbury for today's result. And another issue-based referendum, Connecticut residents said yes to early voting last election through a ballot question. But when exactly does that start, and why did we only have today to vote this go around? Well, the state is working on it, but early voting won't be an option until next year because it takes more poll workers and more planning. Come the 2024 election, though, there will be 14 days to vote in the general election and 7 days for most primaries. The new law will also allow voters 4 days for presidential primaries. Voting technology here in Connecticut will be getting an overhaul, and a lot of people think it's overdue. The State Bond Commission has allocated funds to replace the current ballot machines, which have been in use since 2006. And that's when the state switched from the lever machines to paper ballots. Secretary of the State Stephanie Thomas tells us that registrars have even had to bid for old parts on eBay while they waited for this state investment in new tabulators.
I have often likened to an old car. Like, it still drives, but sometimes you have to go to a junkyard for parts. And sometimes the junkyard doesn't have the parts. So I'll be very excited when we get to retire those machines and purchase new ones with the same security. We'll still have paper ballots and all of those safety mechanisms.
Now, while officials say this will help keep Connecticut up to date and report election results quicker, the current machines, while out of date, are still very accurate. Paper ballots are still the gold standard in election security. You can find our entire one-on-one conversation with Secretary Thomas and more of our exclusive election security coverage on the free Fox 61 News app and, of course, on our website under the Real Story tab. Well, in Connecticut's smallest city by area, an interesting race shaping up tonight. Derby's current mayor on the ballot as a petitioning candidate after narrowly losing the primary to a candidate facing charges in connection to the January 6th Capitol riots. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner is live in Derby now. So, DeAndrea, what's happening out there tonight?
Hi, Brent. Well, some of the residents here, they voted up until 8 o'clock. One of the last voters, they left just a few minutes ago, and you can see that some of the poll workers, they are here tallying these votes. And a lot of folks that I talked to today say that they're ready for a change here in Derby, whether that's the Democratic candidate or the Republican candidate or the independent candidate. And you can see behind me some of those folks, they are here. They're waiting to see these results. And again, they just started tallying up these results just a few minutes ago, maybe 2 minutes ago. But again, the sentiments here from community members is that there's time for a change and they really want to let their voices to be heard. And the town clerk also told me that they are expecting a lot more turnout from this election than the last election a couple of months ago and even the election from 2 years ago. So as we learn more results about who the leading candidate is, we will update you here on air and online. For now in Derby, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, DeAndrea, thank you again. To get live results and race calls, just text the word results to 860-527-6161. You can also find the voter guide along with all our coverage on the free Fox 61 News app and on our website, fox61.com. All right, we'll be back right here on Fox 61 Plus at 9 p.m. as more results pour in from across Connecticut. In the meantime, be sure to tune in and stay up to date on the free Fox 61 News app and online at fox61.com. Have a good evening.